All right, we are live. 2026 National Championship. Miami nothing, Indiana 10. Bobby, the game's kind of breaking down maybe a little too much like how we thought it would. The first quarter under cashes with ease. Uh,
Never
Miami
sweat
making
on that one.
Miami making their usual mistakes that they made all season. Obviously, the offsides penalty, the most detrimental that they got the pressure that they needed to get to force Mendoza into a poor throw. And unfortunately, offsides, and then a great play call with the inside draw totally catches Miami off guard. Miami secondary, that was really illustrative of their poor tackling all night. They have not made the plays that they needed to make to be physical with Indiana. So, with that said, Bobby, what are your thoughts so far on the first half?
Obviously, so you kind of hit on some of it. I thought Indiana, they got stuffed on that first drive where they punted, but then I think you really saw the coaching edge that
Right.
Indiana has start to come through. I thought so. Miami's defensive ends they're attacking Indiana's offensive tackles and quite frankly beating them on most plays. Quite frankly, I think they're just too quick. So,
Right.
but what Indiana's done so at the second possession, which I believe was their field goal drive, they started running a ton of RPOs. They were throwing quick to the outside, through a couple screens, running off tackles, using that Miami's defensive ends aggressiveness against them. And then obviously slowed down for a couple drives. And then on that 14-play drive here in the second quarter, there was that 3rd and 12. You mentioned it. The offsides after the timeout. I think that was an instruction. Just change the snap count. They got the offsides. They took a shot downfield on the seam there, which I don't blame them once they got the offsides. And then, again, playing into that aggressiveness that we've seen, ran a draw play for 20 yards. That was just wide open. Again, you see Miami's defensive ends just coming straight down on a lot of these plays, just really trying to get after Mendoza. And they've done a great job hitting him a bunch. But like that draw play and that combination of two plays was just masterful by the Hoosiers there. And I think really shows the coaching advantage here. And those adjustments on those two specific drives, I think have led us to exactly where we're at. Both those IU scoring drives, 10-0 Hoosiers.
Obviously, Indiana starts the ball with the second half.
Yep.
Is this kind of the slow death that Indiana has put on other teams? If Indiana comes out and scores a touchdown, how does Miami get back
or
in
even
this
a
game?
long field goal? Yeah,
Right.
Or even a long field goal, honestly. I mean, you saw, the last play, drive before half, who cares? But that it was 14 plays, which at that moment was the same amount of plays that Miami had run on offense the whole game. Part of that handicap of that first quarter under was that Miami was going to control the clock and the time of possession. They haven't, and we've still there, but that was because of Indiana's pace. They don't speed things up and whatnot there. And instead of playing up tempo, which we're like, I don't think they'll do, but they could to try to slow down Miami's ends, it's going to be the amount of plays on the drives to wear them down slowly, like death by 1,000 cuts. That's how Indiana's going to attack the second half.
Right.
Looks like.
Go ahead.
I was going to flip sides of the ball here. But you have any thoughts on IU's offense?
No, I mean, honestly, the only thought I have is that Miami's very fortunate that Mendoza is not on God mode that he's been in the previous two games.
Yes.
He's actually played more like himself. The quick outs there, he's kind of taking what the defense will give him, but he's not just playing at an all-world level. That the drive where they had to settle for the field goal with the fade on the right-hand side,
Yep.
He left it a little short, and it allowed the Miami defender to make the play. So, I mean, Mendoza has given Miami opportunities, and however, Miami just can't take advantage.
No, and part of that, I think, is what Indiana's doing defensively, too. I mean, they don't respect Beck at all in terms of his ability to throw downfield or his legs. Right. At all. There was a couple passing downs where Indiana's just dropping 8, and you see no one in the middle of the field. Like, Beck could step up and in theory run, but it's just not. It's just not there. Beck doesn't want to do that. That's not his game. I mean, he did it in a couple key moments. One in the Ohio State game, one in Ole Miss. But It's not something he prefers to do. Yeah, Miami can't bully them. Yeah, we're seeing that. So great comments in the chat. And so Indiana's either dropping 8 and covering everything underneath, like aggressive short. They're just not respecting the idea that Beck can chuck it downfield consistently. So they're able to jump passes. Like a turnover, I think, is pretty much coming here in this one. So with that, I mean, it's honestly a masterclass. And obviously they're mixing in their patented zone blitz too, so they're not sure. I did like the one pass. I think it was on the Miami third drive. They went empty on second down.
Right.
I'm trying to find it here on my notes. And I thought that was like one of the better passing plays. So I was like, ooh, that's bold, kind of Miami going empty there. But it left them to a first down over the middle of the field. Or actually it was short. It was like an 8-yard pass, but it was Beck's easiest throw of the night. It was the first wide open pass, and it made Indiana kind of declare that zone blitz, or if they were kind of dropping 8. And I think Miami should consider that more a little bit in the second half, especially if they need to play catch-up mode.
They're going to have to, right? Something's going to have to adjust, and they're going to have to be very creative now offensively. They had a lot more of that creativity in the Ole Miss game and just haven't had the amount of plays, honestly, with the lack of third down conversions. Miami doesn't have the opportunity to get into situations where they can actually see what Indiana is going to do in different looks and different when they run different sets. So with that said, Bobby, second half looking like a total of 21. And I'm looking at Bookmaker right now. So Miami is catching 5.5 in the second half.
Yeah,
any initial thoughts there with side and total?
I think we're going to continue to see a suffocating effort. Quite frankly, I kind of actually lean Indiana second half here a little bit. And then it's hard to want to like under, because I do think that I don't know if Miami's capable of scoring, first off.
Right.
And I think Indiana's going to try to suffocate the rest of this game away, and I think they're going to be able to do that. But I'm really worried about a defensive score nuking that under at a flat 21, slightly juiced to the under. So I think at 4.5, and I think we're seeing some shops move to 5.5 now. I think I lean Hoosier second half, actually.
Yeah, thoughts on the total. It'd be over or nothing for me. And the simple reason being, like what you just said, not because Miami offensive prowess, but honestly, Miami's just going to start going for it on like their own 35. And
we saw it already.
And why would Indiana stop? It's a reminder of Georgia TCU a couple years back. Georgia just did not stop. I imagine that Cignetti would not stop either, and would
that's a good point.
Given every opportunity to totally annihilate Miami, they would take advantage. So, what do you want to make a show play here second half?
Yeah, let's lay it. Looks like mostly 5.5. Yeah, we'll lay 5.5 second half.
All right.
So official show play. Let me go click that button now on another tab here. As we do that, and Korey prepares the graphic, I imagine.
Yeah, so we're laying the 5.5 with Indiana for the second half. And again, if you just joined us, the logic here, Indiana's not going to stop scoring. And Miami's going to have to really do some things that they haven't done all season offensively, which is show a lot of creativity and a lot of vertical passing to beat this Indiana defense.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking 169 to 69 total yards edge, 11 to 3 first downs. Miami's 0-6 on third down. Obviously, we're 6 inches away from 17-0 here in the first half, with Miami getting that fourth down as well. So we're really close to a blowout here. And the other thing too is on that one note, as I scroll down and looked at the penalties, IU had 2 offensive line penalties on that field goal drive. Like, they even got slowed down. Like, IU is one of the most disciplined teams in the country, but they got 2 first for offensive line penalties, a holding, and then they got the first down on 1st and 20, and then a false start, and still ended up getting a field goal on that drive. I mean, that's just the perseverance and the coaching of IU right there.
Yeah, Miami only ran 22 plays offensively. in that first half, and they're going to run even probably fewer in the second half. So again, less opportunities for Miami to score here in the second half, and Indiana starts with the ball, so just a lot more opportunities for them to cash this second half ticket.
For sure. What else did I have in the notebook here? In that, I did think Miami did have some off tackle runs in the first half that I thought were decently successful.
Right.
On that first drive, and then they kind of went away from it.
Absolutely. So they open up the game with a flusher off the left side, and then they start going to the right. And I've been confused why they would ever throw at Pons. That just seems like a terrible decision, having Beck throw one-on-one against Pons.
They're sitting short. They're sitting so short.
It's not working out. Really interesting to see the lack of. Well, again, if they've only run 22 plays, but they can't get Tony any targets. They ran the screen to him, the same style screen they ran against Ole Miss, where they fake the movement to the right, they throw the ball to the left. But Tony's not getting any touches, and Beck can't get in any rhythm.
Sorry about the dog going crazy right there. That was pretty funny. I don't know if you heard all that in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, everyone, for that one. Thought maybe he'd jump up on the couch and make an appearance at some point during the halftime show.
So we'll pull up game on paper for the.
Oh yeah. Did you see the first quarter on that? Like, it was straight zeros for Miami.
Right. And it's still
0
pretty much
percentile.
is.
Yeah.
So,
and again, so I screenshotted it at the end of the first quarter. So just showing that success rate, just simple success rate. IU was in the 34th percentile, 39% then, and now we're up to 46%. I mean, it was that 14 play drive that kind of did that for IU.
Right.
But I think we're starting to see that wear down, the adjustments that were made, the coaching advantage that we've discussed continue to kind of take prowess. That's why, again, I'm leaning. I like the IU second half play as well at the -5.5.
I got to think too that Miami defensive line just can't keep up that level of intensity. I mean, they really brought it in the first and second quarter, and with the adjustments that Indiana will most likely make, knowing that, and you saw it with the draw play. I got to imagine that Indiana continues to really have a good feel for Miami's pressure and are going to find ways to make sure that Mendoza doesn't get totally his clock cleaned and finds ways to get the ball out quick or take advantage with screens and draws.
Yeah, the thing is Indiana's going to be able to be multiple here in the second half, kind of do what they want throughout the whole time, run, pass, again, play to the aggressiveness of the ends. They're going to have to play a little bit more conservatively, knowing that IU is going to want to eventually run clock, keep the clock moving to sulk away this title. And then for Miami, they're not going to be able to pin their ears back and run the ball. You're going to need Beck to throw into that zone that IU squatting on quite a bit. So, yeah, I really think we could see a run out here, possibly. I don't expect Miami to be shut out, to be clear, but yeah, I think we're looking at 24-7 type game, something like that. I think that's where we end up.
Yeah, it could look a lot more like the Alabama game. It could be closer to 38-3. I mean, I think this might really get out of hand here in the second half because Miami is going to have to be very aggressive offensively. And if Indiana can continue to drop 8 and Beck's just going to say, fuck it, and just throw the ball into tight windows, Indiana's going to make the plays, and then they're going to create the turnovers. And then this is going to put that Miami defense on full tilt. I can't see any scenario where Miami is going to get out of this hole. I mean, they're in a predicament right now. They could be down a lot more, which is like the only saving grace going into halftime. But I don't really know what adjustments Miami can make. Other than they're going to have guys make plays. Honestly, they're going to have guys make a lot of big plays, and they're going to be a lot more physical in the secondary.
The only hope I think they have is they get a stop on this opening drive, have to hold them to 0, preferably a 3-and-out there, and they're going to have a good first drive in that second half themselves. At least put up 3, keep this a 1-possession game on their end, just so that they can maintain some sort of balance. Because I think if they have to go pass consistently, I think you get a pure snowball effect. And I don't think that's going to end well. So I think these first, I know that's maybe a lazy take, but I think these first 2 drives are massive for the Hurricanes here, and literally like their only shot in this one.
Absolutely, they have to force a punt. They cannot give up any points. They need to force a punt. And honestly, Indiana's kicking to Tony. I mean, he's had opportunities to make plays on the punt returns, and he unfortunately slipped and fell on that one punt return. But it's going to take an effort like that where some of these guys from Miami are going to have to step up and make a big play.
Yep. It looks like we got some Miami money in the second half, mostly 4.5s out there. So market says screw you guys.
Also, too, what do you see in the total sit at? Looks like we're off the 21, right?
Nah, it's mostly still 21. 21 minus 20. DraftKings or DK still has 21.5 minus 20. So if you want second half under, which I think would play into like the Miami punt on both teams here in the second half, I think that's how second half under gets there. I didn't understand the thought of, I started to really like the under and almost pulled the trigger pregame. I know that's hindsight 2020, because I thought this is how it could play out in a suffocating factor. I don't know if I see, like, without a defensive score, I don't second half over is like really hard, I think. To me, like I couldn't play that. I know you said you lean that way.
No. I mean,
it's 21.
It's correlated. It's correlated to
21
Indiana scoring a lot of points. Honestly, mm-hmm. Like it's certainly a bet where you don't have to take the over, but I couldn't play the under, just simply because of how this game state is not going to be normal. It's a national championship, and Miami's going to get desperate, and they're going to really get out of playing conservative, especially if they give up any points on this first drive. I think for sure the second half goes over with any points on this first Indiana drive, because it's going to have to put Miami into some sort of ultra aggressive mode that's really outside of their norm. And either it's going to be successful or they're going to fall flat on their face. And that's just going to allow Indiana to score more points. Either way, second half best bet for us is Indiana laying, I guess we laid the 5.5, but you guys, if you can find a 4.5, certainly lay it. We are I guess we were pro Miami going into it with some futures tickets, but now let's kind of recoup some of that money with second half Indiana.
Yep, like that. Obviously happy for both teams' season coming to an end here. Hopefully with a more exciting second half, and we'll crown a champion tonight.
All right, Bobby. That'll do it for our first ever live halftime show. Really appreciate 141 of you guys tuning in. Our best bet, Indiana laying the 5.5 in the second half. Again, we're just thinking that Indiana is going to kind of put a whooping on them here in the second half based on everything that we've seen so far. Miami continues to make mistakes, and if they have to get even more aggressive, they're most likely those mistakes are really going to be magnified. And Indiana has shown a propensity all season long to take advantage of those mistakes. So really appreciate you guys tuning in. Enjoy the second half. Best of luck. And for the final time, adios.
Peace.